Miss your favorite show? Download the podcast at kcaaradio.com.
KCAA.
Listen to me. Never give up.
Yeah. No matter what it is in life that you want, you gotta go out there and get it. Just don't let it come to a sleeper but a dream. Never give up on your goals. Stay focused on you. Focus your view. Succeed, cause I'm hoping you do. Keep climbing up the ladder, cause the key to success. Go hard and go home. Never settle for less. Life is stress, but we gotta deal with it, homie. Send a prayer to the man to put a shield on it. Work hard for what you get. Appreciate what you got. You can always.
What's up, team? This is Robert Porter and Ipiani Locker with the I Love San Bernardino County radio show on KCAA NBC 106.5 FM, 1050 AM, where we will talk politics, culture, and history. Today we have the great mayor of San Bernardino, Helen Tran, in the house. How are we doing today?
Thank you. Doing fantastic and happy to be here.
Okay, well, we're going to get into all the plans that you have for the future of San Bernardino and a little homeless update, a little, this and that, and what it's like to be a mama, things like that. But I definitely have to mention our sponsor, Celebrities Bar and Grill, over on 127 West 40th Street. Now, Max Zaire, as gave you a very interesting welcome when you first came into the city. And, he's still on that route. There's still a lot of unhoused over there in that area. So we're trying to slowly fix that stuff up. But it does look a little bit better. But he's still complaining. So let's hope we can do some stuff with that. But we love you, Max. And thank you. And Max just spent a lot of money fixing up the inside of Celebrities. So let's go over there and spend some money for him. Right. He's had a few issues here or there, so let's go over and spend some money.
Hey, there.
Like, get the buffalo chicken salad. It was incredible. It was really
I
good,
saw
right?
your photos.
Yeah, he's got good tacos on Sunday. And then, if you drink. I don't drink, but if you drink, go out and have a drink.
There you go.
Have fun. And you can throw your birthday parties there for your family or whatever. Just support locals.
I think they do a comedy open mic night there on Thursday nights, hosted by Nice.
I missed this last one, but I'm going to the next one.
Okay.
So we'll be at the next one. I need to
Shout
talk
out to
him about
Nice.
that.
Shout out to Nice.
Thank you, Max. Thank you, Zoe. We appreciate you. And don't you dare call in. No, I'm just kidding.
Ring, ring, ring.
I want to thank Cindy Ta with Miokja. And well, man, I forgot the name.
Soma.
What? Oh man.
The meal that he just had.
Yeah.
You talked about
Shabu. There it is.
Yeah.
It's new, right? So it's like it's Korean dish that's a hot. There's a hot plate on there, and you put your meat. Yeah, you put your meat and everything in there, and then if you want, you can get this little like oil hot drop in there. That's super hot, or I guess. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Really messy, but I wanted to thank her. And they're right across the street from, I always say Price Club. Costco. They're right across the street from, I'm old,
No,
man.
Are you talking about in
Hospitality Lane.
Hospitality Lane. Because I'm thinking about the one that's over. That used to be in Rialto. Price Club.
That's where we used to travel on over there. Like I always loved going by Slover Mountain, and watch it get smaller and smaller and smaller. But anyways, she has some good food over there. So please try it out. It's right across the street. So just go there. But you have to go in and around, and there's another inside area behind the main building there that has a bunch of restaurants too.
Okay.
So head on in there and check those out as well. And try a restaurant, spend some money in there, and let's support locals. She started 3 businesses. So,
awesome.
do you know her? She said
I
she knew
sure
you.
do.
Yeah.
She's a childhood friend that we grew up in San Bernardino.
Hey now.
Oh, right on, right.
What's up,
Like now, I didn't get to meet her because she was doing some real estate work, but we did talk online, and she did mention that she may have partied with you here or there.
But nothing that we're going to share over there.
But your daughter's here. She wouldn't want to hear any of that stuff. She wouldn't have to. Okay, so thank you so much, Cindy Ta, and I appreciate that you reached out to me and brought us in for a great meal. Me and Amy had a wonderful time. Also, I'd like to thank our San Bernardino Standout of the Week, Elena Ramos Matthews, a local philanthropist from San Manuel Reservation.
Awesome.
She is a part of many boards and is very humble with her participation. If you look at the video over at our museum for the people of the Pines, she's in that video as well.
Awesome.
So she does stuff with their culture. And of course, she's a member of the famous Ramos family as well. She just received an award from La Belinda for her hard work for the board.
Definitely.
It's not easy to do those things,
No.
right? And you always have to, it always seems like you're about to head and you don't have quorum or something. You never know what's going to happen. So
Totally.
it's not always easy, and I want to thank her for doing all that stuff, plus the philanthropy, like helping all the different foundations that she's a part of, right?
Awesome.
And I know she was involved with the Headdress Ball and things like that in the past. So I just want to say thank you and commend her for all that hard work. And that's the I Love San Bernardino Stand of the Week, and that's brought to you by Ben Chavez with First Lineage Site Services. Thank you, Ben, for all you do for San Bernardino. Bringing in some of those tax dollars. We appreciate you. Even though we don't be selling nothing, it sells a business, right?
I hear you.
It sells a service.
There you go.
All right. One last thing. We have, how do I request city services? See a pothole that needs fixing? Graffiti, broken sprinkler, illegal dumping. Contact us online at sanbernardinocity.org/SB Access, or get the mobile app online, Go SB City. Just open the app, select your issue, take a picture, and then send it. Or call, which was one of my favorites, 909-384-7272, Monday through Thursday, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And then just make a request, right?
Definitely.
So anything have you ever used that line? You're in Fontana, right?
Yes, I'm in Fontana now.
But they have something similar, or?
You know what? I'm not too sure. I live on the north end of Fontana. I have to say that most of the issues that arise, like every once in a while there's some graffiti, is usually taken down within a day or two.
Okay.
I really appreciate the leadership there. Shout out to the mayor. She just was at our Chillin' and Grillin' event a few weeks ago over there at the Jesse Turner Center.
Aquanetta came to visit.
Definitely. Because we work with the city of Fontana in that regard.
Yes.
And then Jesse Armaderas, the Board of Soups, also came there and presented some awards and everything like that.
He's really active online. Yes.
Yeah, very active online. And then I see him here and there in the community. And then almost the entire city council came out to the event as well. So it's a wonderful event. We had to shift it because of the fires, so the city postponed it when it was originally slated for the 14th, but the air quality was so bad. So with us shifting it to the 28th of last month, it affected our turnout to a certain extent, and then some of our grillers, because I think it's one of the fire departments, San Bernardino. One of the police departments or fire departments couldn't do the other date because they had another date that the 28th to do. So it affected us in a few ways, but we had a good turnout. It was a wonderful time. But on that note, I want to, because there's been a lot of wonderful happenings here, and I believe both of you guys attended Route 66. So how was your experience with Route 66, man?
I did not.
Okay.
I was not able to go because I had a full day.
put her on the spot.
I know you did put me on the spot. I was like, oh.
But I can answer.
But I did go that. I try to go every year, but this year I couldn't because my day was full with family activities.
And we understand, and this is a reason why Route 66 should be more than one day.
Yes.
Yeah, it used to be.
Now
I remember when it was that way.
Yeah.
Now, I've been asking about this for a while from last administration and the new one, and then, of course, Damon Alexander asked to meet about, I guess we have to put that on the agenda. I don't know if it ever popped up there to add one more
It'll come
day.
back.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Now, it was super hot, team. So, I told Yanni that I risked my life. Yes, it was hot, and, we got heat exhaustion. Yeah, so, wow, it was hot. But it was super fun, and it was nice to meet everybody again. And, year to year, sometimes you only see those people once a year. So
Definitely.
It's always fun. I always feel like I'm a star at Route 66. So.
That's awesome. Like, yeah, I didn't get a chance to make it out myself. I wanted to, but I was over at the mental health event that was the men's health awareness event that was happening in Rialto with Mayor Robinson, her foundation, and then Black the Block, Vicki Davis. It was a wonderful event there. So once I got done there, I was just like, man, I was hungry. I didn't feel like driving over to the Dino because it was super hot, like you said, you know, so I had to pass. But normally, I love cars, so normally I'm there.
And we all have family events, Mr. Mayor. Yes,
totally.
we do.
Family commitment and responsibilities.
Yes, and in fact, family has to be first a lot of times.
Totally.
Man. Like, because sometimes I feel like San Bernardino takes all my time. Right? So, like, wait a second.
You got to create some boundaries,
my mama
friend.
needs her lawn mowed. What do I do?
Totally. Or clone yourself.
I take the phone and I flick it over there on the couch and I go mow the lawn, right?
Definitely. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
And God bless you for being there. That just shows the quality of man that you are, that you're still there to help take care of your mom, the responsibilities.
You're looking in the mirror right here, man. Damn.
Well, we've been blessed to have good models and
Great mamas.
Great mamas, great fathers, right?
Yes,
like we wouldn't be here without them. Either one of them, right? It takes two to tango, right? So we've both been blessed in that regard. One thing that I do want to speak about real quickly is this upcoming block party that's going to be happening on the 19th, Saturday, October 19th at the New Hope Family Life Center. The address is 1505 West Highland Avenue, and it's going to be taking place from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is focusing on housing, right? Addressing the concerns that we have about housing. Also, there's a survey that's going around to hear about people's experience with the housing here in the city of San Bernardino. And this effort is led by COPE, Congregations Organized for Prophetic Engagement, as well as Just SB. Shout out to San Bernardino Generation Now, because it's like everyone's there now and getting paid to do their work, and it's beautiful. As well as Starting Over Incorporated, Open Arms, nonprofit Open Arms, as well as Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity. So come on out on that day. We're going to have a whole bunch of $100 raffles. There's going to be food as well, and some talking and engaging of people. But overall, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a jumper and activity for the kids. So it's all free, and we just want you to come out and engage and us to work together to address the housing within our community, to make sure that people are not paying more, that landlords are not increasing the rent more than 10%, because they could raise it up to 10% each year. But we found some are not respecting that rule and doing more, you know what I mean? So we just want to make sure that the renters know their rights, hopefully creating some pathways to home ownership, try to tap in and show them some of the programs that they can utilize to get into home ownership. So it's a really awesome event happening once again October 19th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Free food, $100 raffles, music, DJ, a backdrop to take photos. It's just going to be a wonderful time. So if you guys are interested, please come on out.
All right. I have a couple things to add. So I spoke with an officer at Route 66, and I just said, hey, he was from San Bernardino. And I was like, hey, do you live here? He's like, no, I live in, the low desert or down that way. Mm-hmm. Right? So, like, I always ask officers this because, like, last I heard it was like 11% of the officers live here. I don't know. I hope it increased.
Yes.
Amount, right? But their first response always is, right, why they don't live in the city. Because they know too many people, and then it may be dangerous for them. Like I experienced that once as a kid with my good friend from juvenile hall, where someone who was in juvenile hall. My good friend from juvenile hall. Well, he worked there. Yeah, and he saw someone at a football game that was one of his inmates or whatever, and like he started messing with us. So I know it does happen in the community. But I asked him, like, well, how, like, I mean, couldn't that happen in any community?
Yes.
And does that mean that we should get officers from other, like, Barstow or whatever to move here and live here instead? Or what? Like, how would that work? And what would it take to entice you to move here and live with us again?
Definitely. I know that often some communities and certain cities incentivize housing for teachers, firefighters, and
That's
police
what we
department.
brought- that's exactly
I see
what we
that
brought up.
utilized, and I see that make great impact in drawing potential firefighters, teachers, and police officers to the
Like
community.
maybe a 10-year, you'd have to live for 10
Yeah,
years.
there's
or something.
certain stipulations that have to be met. But also, I'm big on that because my neighbor across the street when I grew up on the west side of San Bernardino was Chuck Burris. He worked for the San Bernardino sheriff, and we never had any issues on our block, right? Even though I live, a stone's throw from the projects, the Zions, California Gardens, the door jails, where it was a lot of activity going on, right? And you could hear certain things at night, right? But never any issues on my block. But I say all that to say I'm big on especially law enforcement living in the communities that they serve because it makes a vested interest. They want it to be better because their family is being raised here. They want, to me, it's like they have more skin in the game, and I really like that approach when people live in the communities that they serve. We have a lot of examples, go Yodis, but we have so many students that drive into San Bernardino.
That commuter campus up there, yeah.
And there's a lot of that happening in a lot of the roles, even in the people that work in the city and the government that don't live in our community but work within our community, So
Do you have any ideas how we could entice police officers?
Similar to what he mentioned about incentivizing, and there is a incentive program that we could
There's one,
instill,
yeah.
or even just look into, hey, how can we promote more of our law enforcement to live in our city?
And firemen, I think it'd be cool, like maybe have a law enforcement, firemen, and then in the middle a teacher. And then like put one on every single street. I have big dreams, man.
It could be incorporated part of their, contractor negotiation. So that's again a incentive to say, hey, we would want more of our employees, especially our safety employees, to be living in our city.
Maybe we can get the POA to start a side account that they put their money into, and then we can match it or something, right? And
Be creative.
Yeah,
There you
besides just what the state program is, right?
It's a good conversation to start and get
Because
the
they may
gears
want
turning.
they may want to put into something like that.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Maybe they want. Maybe there is a few that want to move the city, but they can't.
And I would have those conversations with each of the associations, the teachers union,
course.
the fire department, and the police officer association, as you referenced the POA.
Oh, excellent. We're lobbying a little bit, just a little bit.
You
lobbying.
are.
Yeah.
We're just chiming in.
I have to thank Gwen, Daddy Rogers, and Tanya Rhodes Hensley for
how was the Motown?
Yeah, and their staff and team at the United Way, the Arrowhead United Way, incredible. Yeah, you just have to dance to money, and like whatever the song, stop in the name. You just every single
Robert.
one, dude.
You got the singing bug.
It's like a heat wave. Oh man, we had a great time.
I love San Bernardino karaoke coming
I
to
know.
celebrities in the near future.
we appreciate it, and I'm going to forego the history tidbit today, but I did want to thank your husband, Colin, for all that he's done and been so nice to me. Like a lot of times I don't get to talk to you in the meeting, but or talk to you at all because you're like busy politicking, but like. He's always there, like just shake your hand and say what's up. He's a really nice dude. So
That's awesome.
I wanted
That's
to give him a shout out.
Thank you.
Before we
Appreciate
start
that.
picking your brain.
Definitely.
You got a question over there?
Well, I imagine he's a very nice dude because you married him. So.
Yeah, he is amazing.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool dude, right?
Your daughter even says she loves you
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Oh, that's
He's a
beautiful.
fellow Cajon cowboy.
Okay.
So we,
Cardinal pride.
Well, we can't blame him for that. But
So-
you and Councilman Romanoso, Cajon's all right.
Oh no, it's the bomb. Okay.
Well, let's
Yeehaw!
not go down that rabbit hole because we're having a wonderful time thus far.
They're gonna start touting like football stars and stuff now.
yeah.
You can't do anything.
They
anymore.
recently can count. Now.
Yeah, they really can. Woo!
But you know what? There's, we have Alexander Madison, that plays for the Raiders now,
Yes.
that went to Cardinal Pride, and there's many, Ronnie Lott, grew up on the west side of San Bernardino, you know what I mean? So
Jaden Daniels, Heisman.
yeah, definitely. And he's doing actually really great right now. The Commanders
Yes.
are doing really good, So there's a lot of wonderful people, and I like to expand it to the Inland Empire that have come out, like Kawhi Leonard as well, Ken Griffey Jr. used to play for the Spirits, you know what I mean? Like, so.
Yeah, I got his autograph at the
Awesome.
Spirit game.
There you go.
I had a San Bernardino Unified School District event. They took us all
Awesome.
there. That was awesome. Yeah.
I remember when we used to go on field trips. That used to be a wonderful time for the school districts back when we were growing up. To go
Some of
on
my
these
best
field trips.
memories, man.
Really, for real, and for some of our students, sadly, that's like the only time that they ever left the city or went somewhere. And I think that it's so important that we continue to make those kind of investments to expand the horizons of the youth that are here, to show them that there's a world of opportunity out here. Just because life is lived
There
like
is.
this here, this is not example of how life is lived differently throughout the world, and you could be a part of the world, or you could bring the world and grow it here too.
Yeah, and San Bernardino is the best place to grow worldly
Yes, you
goods. That's
can.
for sure.
Yes,
Definitely.
yes.
The
We got
heart-
everything.
The heart of the biggest county in the country.
And, and a melting pot with every type of great food you can
Hey, now.
imagine.
Here we go.
We are an
Wow.
international city.
Hey, now,
We
that's
need to
beautiful.
recognize that. Yes.
Yes, nothing represents that better than our school district, and they've been working hard over there. I want to say that if we could work on the bullying stuff, just a little bit. We got to work on that stuff.
Definitely.
Because I guess that COVID, was hard on some kids, so let's see what we can do.
A lot of that time is a lot of those examples are the bully is more than likely being bullied in their house. They're reflecting the treatment that they're
The trauma
receiving,
that they
the
receive,
trauma,
yeah.
and the treatment they
Right.
might be enduring at their own homes. So yeah, we have to make to me addressing bully is worse. Yeah, you want to engage the students, but you have to engage the parents because
Right.
there's root causes to everything.
Appreciate you saying that, because I even tell my kids, when they see that, it's don't look at them, that's their fault. Look at why it's that way, right? It's really beyond what you see.
Totally.
And so there's a root issue.
And the other issue that we kind of stumbled upon was that when you make a policy that says no bullying, the people that run that policy tend to want what? No bullying. So they work as hard as they possibly can to get what?
No
Otherwise-
bullying.
No bullying. Right?
Where are you going with this?
Well, yeah, if there's bullying, they're trying to talk them out of it. You get me? So if you're working for a data point that's that's basically showing that
I hear what you're
that you're not
saying.
getting bullied, you don't know what you're doing. That's
I hear
not
you.
bullying. You don't
No, I hear you. You
for your
like
data point. Right?
almost moving the goalpost, shifting
Yeah,
the
so,
goalpost. I hear what
yeah,
you're
I
saying.
stumbled across that by accident, and I was like, "Whoa,
Oh.
yeah, that's interesting that that's even a possibility." So I actually now I am applying that to every single thing, right?
Because they often say like numbers don't lie, but data can be manipulated.
Oh, yes.
Greatly.
Depending who's behind the
Who's
numbers, right?
collecting the numbers, who they're talking to, it's-
So speaking of numbers, everybody wants to know what's going on with our unhoused situation. So can you give us a tiny update?
Of course. That is one of the crises that we're facing in our city, and the injunction was lifted. And we announced that September 25th. Huge for us, because that is now one step closer to progress.
So we don't have to go protest in front of the judge's house?
You do not. It's been signed up by the judge,
I
and we
told the
can.
lady from the ACLU, I said, hey, my neighborhood association wants to sue for ADA access to the parks. She looked at me.
No, and we all want to address the unhoused. I think we all do. We all really want to address the unhoused population and the situations they're going through, right? Because it's not
Yes.
one size fit all. It's a very
Totally.
complex issue. We want to address it compassionate with urgency.
Amen.
So please, I know the public has been very frustrated with this
And
situation.
very squeaky-wheeled,
And
for
I get,
sure,
I
yeah.
understand it, but we are trying to do everything right with compassion and making
Amen.
sure that everyone's needs are met.
And if we don't, the judge will make
Oh,
sure
and
we
then
do.
you know,
Yeah,
exactly. So we had to follow the stipulation that was agreed upon, and that got the injunction to lift. So we are on it. You're going to start seeing major changes and
But what I was reading, do we have one real quick? By what we were reading, we have 3 years that we have to follow the rules.
follow that, yes.
Okay.
But if we do everything what we agreed upon, there should be no issues. It should come by quick. I mean, I've been in office now almost 2 years. Come by quick. So in the coming weeks, you're going to see progress with the parks and really, major cleanups and so forth, and addressing
and helping them at least
helping them and
at
giving
least
the
find
resource-
a spot for the
exactly.
time being. So what happens when the hotel voucher ends? Because that's what I've seen on.
So we're working collaboratively with the county. Our city manager is working around the clock with staff, with the county, with our nonprofits, with our stakeholders, everyone around around this crisis that we're facing. And so that way we could all hands on deck address it. And it's not going to be overnight. It's going to be something that's going to be working ongoing. One thing that we don't want to see happen is to address it and then it comes back.
Totally.
We need to see permanent addressing
Real
of the issue,
solutions.
real solutions.
not move it to county
And
then
not,
to
yes,
state,
correct. And
yeah.
so there's a lot of things that we're trying to do where we learn from other communities that have not been successful and say, you know
Yes.
what, that's not going to work because we've seen it, and it was not successful. So again, complex issue, but we are on it.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy the junction has been removed and that progress can happen. One thing that you said that I love hearing is humanely, because sadly when I see a lot of the things on social media, especially about our unhoused community, it's so hateful and so vicious, and it doesn't recognize the humanity.
Right.
Most Americans in all reality are 2 paychecks from being unhoused themselves, right? The rents are extremely high. You have people that, hey, like I can afford to pay my rent, but I can't afford food for my family. I can't afford to maintain my car. I can't afford my insurance. And there's people making these kind of tough decisions. So we need to be more conscious about the realities of our world as far as the rent increase and the lack of our wages going up to meet the needs of today's market, right? But most importantly, we have to recognize the humanity of each life that is on this earth. We're all blessed to be alive, and we all have hard times. And for those that may not understand what it is to be unhoused or to have that lived experience, I pray that they never do, because some of the vicious things that they're saying, it's so sad. People need help, and we need to be compassionate, and empathetic in all that we do. It's not about hating one another because one ascribes to this or that. It could happen to anyone. It could happen to anyone.
Right. And I know you mentioned about the service request.
Yeah.
So when you do see folks who are unhoused or encampments and stuff, please also report it through this mechanism, because it allows, we can't be everywhere, but if we don't know something, we can address it.
Totally.
So please, all those things, so we can provide the resources necessary.
So everybody knows, I live right in the middle with the homeless stuff, and in the hood, right? So we see it everywhere. Like I always say, sir and ma'am to every single person. But there's this one lady who, likes to hang out on our porch, and she takes our stuff, and it starts to eat at you. You want to be compassionate, you really want to feel, but I worked hard to do that, what makes you think you can just take it now? And she may be a little crazy, and of course she just walks in people's houses and opens the door and walks right in. Yeah, and then she's
that is very dangerous for her.
Yes.
That's
Some
very
wild
dangerous
stuff.
for her.
So we deal with this stuff we're in the mix of it, right?
I hear you.
So but I have noticed that the druggies aren't as drugged. Right?
Well,
I think the
that are
fentanyl
battling
is
addiction.
getting more expensive, right? So and then it's harder to get. Hopefully this stuff will start equaling less people on it, and then it will help us with the whole situation.
Good.
But we still need housing. We still need some
Yes.
kind of permanent housing. So how is that resource center coming along?
Is that
The
the one with-
navigation center?
Yeah, the navigation.
So we will have more updates and detailing what that timeline looks like. We are shooting for it to be up and running by next year.
Okay.
So that, but in the meantime, we can't just, leave it leave folks unhoused and not have the resource. So we're, again, working with the county and anyone else who we can work with to make sure that they are connected with housing, resources, services, whatever the case may be.
I heard about, I think, a housing project, 147 units.
Lutheran Social Services. Look at you. I do have. So we have a couple things, some collaborative solutions. We have Lutheran Social Services will be opening San Bernardino Community Wellness Campus in San Bernardino, spring of 2025.
Awesome.
That's around the corner. The facility will provide 140 units of interim housing and wraparound services for chronically homeless men. This was a $35 million project. Project was funded by Project Homekey and the American Rescue Plan Act. You mentioned about the Navigation Center. The SB Hope Campus will be have 200-bed, low-barrier, non-congregant navigation center that will provide emergency shelter, wraparound supportive services, and provide a pet-friendly atmosphere as well.
Awesome.
So again, we're working around any and every solution that's out there that we can get on, because this is something we have to address. We cannot ignore it. We cannot push the problem over to another community. We're facing this statewide and nationwide.
Totally.
She's not ignoring it, team. Look,
I'm not. We're not ignoring it. We're all hands on deck.
we've been discussing this since before you were mayor, like how important it was.
Yes, it's very important.
It's just it's hard to see the advancement because the process is moving, but it is moving.
Not only that, we
yeah.
have transition leadership too. So I've been So I have 3 city managers. So
and
transition
fentanyl
leadership
has just gotten really, really bad, man. It has destroyed our streets. It really has.
Right.
I've never seen so many crazies on that stuff, man.
So there's a lot of
It's really
variables,
wild,
right?
yeah.
So recognizing that, we're still on track.
Yes, we're going to
Focused.
The whole thing I need safe streets, I need clean
Yes.
streets, and then the mega art's coming, we'll have tourism.
There you go.
Like now the one other thing, yes.
Just wanted to chime in.
Yeah.
I love the fact with the Lutheran project how it's focused on men, because so often
Yes.
when you
Oh,
look
that is
at
so
housing
true.
and
Yes.
shelter, it's for women and children, and it's like
Which is important.
Which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
important.
yeah.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
important, but it's
across
like
the board.
Totally, right? We have
Absolutely.
we have men that are
There
unhoused
needs-
that
yeah.
And we need
help too.
we need the next level too of family where the man
Where
and the
everyone
woman
can
can
be
live.
together.
Yeah, because a
Amen.
family
Word up.
Right.
shouldn't
Shouldn't
have to
have to break-
separate a family.
Totally. Totally.
You know, like kids need their mom and dad.
They both play an important role for those that are blessed to have them.
Yeah,
both.
our county has done a great job in addressing. Supervisor Joe Baca has done a lot to help address
Well, I'm
it.
Shout out
holding
to
his
Joe
feet to
Baca.
the fire too, man. We need help, dude.
Yes.
That flood control channel looks like poo poo. So we need to do some work on that, and no just taking the flood control people and throwing them in the park. I don't like that, Mr. Baca. We got to take care of that. Or Don Rao, like we got all of you. We need to make sure that we don't just transfer them onto a different property, right? These are people. We need to get them into housing and
Yes.
yes.
And to me, that speaks towards the importance of not just only engaging our city council, because we're blessed that the Board of Soups is
right here,
in
yeah.
San Bernardino.
But I have to say the county has done a lot, especially in our city, because there are some projects that they have done and completed to address the unhoused population, such as the County Pacific Village. That provides 28-unit county bridge housing. So there's a lot that they are doing, and so I do want to give them a shout out for that. So.
Definitely.
All right, we'll throw them a bone, a
No.
milk bone, but like I want
I hear
the whole roast.
No, I
want the roast.
You want the sides, the
Yeah,
fixing, and
I-
dessert,
yeah,
3 course.
everything there,
But
right.
I have to say, shout out to Joe Baca Jr. and then Joe Baca Sr. as well, because they both were at the mental health event that we had over in Rialto as well. So I always see him, and I love engaging with him. We may not agree on everything with certain aspects or certain things that we're trying to address throughout our county, but I appreciate his leadership.
Yeah, Congressman Baga's he was actually the first politician I ever endorsed.
There you go. There you go.
Way back in the day.
Dude,
Way back in
it's
the
all
day. He was
love.
a,
It's
he was
all
a
love.
Republican too.
There you go. It's all love. It's all
you're
love.
just switching Democrat to Republican. You're just trying to get some money.
I don't know. Hey, we're blessed to be alive. Let's just say it like that.
I just saw him at the powwow. He gave me a cool congressional baseball cards for history. So
I got one of those
I have.
too.
Yes, I should have had him sign it, man.
Ah!
Did you get a sign?
No, I didn't.
Oh, man.
And that was at the Memorial Day event over once again in Rialto.
Maybe I'll mail it to oh, yeah. Next time I see Mr. Baca Jr. and I'll be like, can you give this to your dad? Get an assignment.
There you go,
Like,
there
I
you
want to give him the historical society. All my history will go to the historical society when I pass away. So
Well,
I'm
you'll catch him in
designating that.
Rialto because he's his father is currently trying to run for mayor. So you'll find him in Rialto.
Oh yeah, like I've seen him everywhere. I mean, it must be election season or something. I
Ooh, is
Yeah.
How
it
could you
season?
tell?
so another question I have for working with people that don't always have the same views as you. What can you do to bring the council together better? Where like a lot of times you hear like some people want to try to separate the council and call it a
course.
left side and the
Of
divide
course.
and conquer techniques and stuff.
Right.
But like really, ultimately, you're talking earlier about it's possible to get 7 votes.
It is because to me, it's not just the vote; it's the issue at hand. What are we here to do for the city of San Bernardino? We're here to address the crisis that exists in our city and what the needs are. So we have a homeless crisis. We have an infrastructure crisis. We have our streets, our lives, our everything that creates quality of life that matters.
Like
to
the
us.
biggest pothole in San Bernardino in front of my house, or Amy's house.
Did you
We'll make
report
sure
it?
you call.
Make
Yeah.
sure you report it.
Oh, I reported twice. Yes,
Twice?
yes.
When?
You have to replace the whole street. It's literally that big. I mean, we grow grass in our pothole, dude. Like we grow grass in our pothole. It's
All
that
right.
big.
Yeah.
So then there are those things in
Yeah.
downtown. So if we all agree that that's what the issues are, we have to
Yes.
address it. There is no issues for us to foster the focus on addressing it and making sure we have progress in those areas, right?
Definitely.
We should not disagree on it because why? Maybe disagree on the nuances on how things should come about. Well, that's
Where to
okay.
spend the
Right,
money,
Yeah, exactly.
Their
And that's
approach.
healthy. Having a healthy discourse is fine.
Totally.
But if there's folks trying to divide us, just gotta stay focused. Why are we here? We're here to serve.
The purpose.
There's no time to waste. I tell folks every single day I'm trying to make every single day in my position count.
Amen.
Because it's not a forever thing, right?
Totally.
It's not. It's a 4-year term, mayor, and I just want to see San Bernardino through with the best I can in my capacity.
You want to have something to show for the work you've done.
Yes.
It's important. It's
Or,
just-
or
Right.
if anything,
Feels
having
good.
a vision in place that we're working towards,
Right,
you
right.
know, and I think that's
and,
beautiful.
and that's a lot of work.
No,
Yeah,
totally,
yeah.
totally. I would like to more so. I have 2 questions for you, but I'll answer this first question, then I'll let Robert do his thing, and then I'll hit you with the second question. But what is the vision that you guys are working towards to revitalize our downtown? Because I love being down here in downtown Redlands or going to Riverside or Claremont. Even though it's technically not part of San Bernardino County, we kind of adopt Claremont and Pomona, kind of like pseudo family to us, right? But I love going down to those downtown spaces, and I remember my economics teacher, Monty Van Ward, he was a part of the planning committee for the revitalization of downtown Riverside. So I got to see the plans and everything, what they were imagining about, bringing the Fox Theater back, investing in there,
course.
and just seeing all that,
Right.
happen and being, I was just down there yesterday, matter of fact. I would love to hear what our leadership, the vision is for revitalizing our downtown. I know that we have a lot of small businesses and a lot of art galleries kind of in that little area. And I'll shout out to Ernie Garcia, because I believe this myself, is he always said that art could revitalize and save our community. I want to know, so what's the vision for our downtown, San Bernardino, and then do you guys plan on integrating any of the art community that's flourishing here?
Absolutely. So, downtown should be incorporating everything that matters in San Bernardino. That could arts. There's the music aspect, the history. And you have to look at downtown not as a carousel mall, in the sense it has to be beyond that, because malls are not what's going to survive now. Given the pandemic, you've seen,
Yeah, there's
malls
no more,
now.
There's no more mall there.
there's-
It's gone.
Well, no
Yeah,
more
yeah.
mall there, but now you have to look at what's going to
Beyond just a
sustain
mall.
beyond
We need
just a
housing
mall.
there.
It needs to be, if you think about it, all the feedback from the community when we had that process with the community forums to discuss
listening
what
sessions.
what do the community want, and what I heard and I found that, and the council understanding is that it needs to be a destination where you could live, work, and play. So it's a mixed use, where you could dine, where you could shop, where you could live, where you could, I mean, it has to be, you have to be very innovative and creative.
Yes.
And so having that discussion to say, incorporate all of those things that benefits the community.
Definitely.
That's huge. And making it a really a sustainable downtown where nothing can harm it, like a pandemic.
So we're gonna have to start over.
No, I don't think you don't have to start over necessarily.
'Cause, like,
if there is,
I've watched like 5 or 6 plans.
exactly.
I'm like,
We can't. Again, we have a city manager that
we keep reinventing the wheel. Like
we shouldn't reinvent the wheel. We
yeah.
should look at what has been done and see if any interested parties who can make that happen for us.
And then I've always
With
said
capacity
the piecemeal it too.
to make that happen for us.
Break it down
right?
into pieces.
And
that
I think
you can
that's
eat.
the key, because we can't do it ourselves.
Totally.
We can't.
You gotta
so
get community
we
buy-in.
we get having that community buy-in, and then also see if there's appetite from anyone who can come in and make it happen for us.
Definitely. One city that I will point to that's in the process of expanding and developing their downtown even more is Redlands right here, because I'm part of a leadership cohort in Redlands, so I've been privy to some of the plannings that they're doing, and they're building a mixed-use space, right, with shopping, housing on top, extending the corridor
Right.
of State Street,
Developing something that's connected, connecting the community where you don't have to really drive. You don't have to. It's a walkability, connecting to where people can go to and be able to relax. It's a therapeutic way to live.
Condominiums in town, huh?
Yes,
Like we need
affordable housing
and,
Yeah.
and it creates art space. It creates the culture space. It creates
How do
entertainment.
we get like a high rise of like apartments out there? Like,
That's possible. I
they're
mean,
doing it
we
here.
beg San Manuel, we're like, please.
I mean,
build a
why
huge
not?
building
I mean,
for us.
sky's the limit for us.
Totally.
We should look at those things and say, hey, how do we make? And I've said this so many times, even before I went to office. It's like, make San Bernardino the shining star of the East, because you can. If LA is already doing all this, why can't you bring that here?
Totally. Because I want it here. We're
We're the county seat. We have all the, I mean, transportation's all there, rail, you have airport, you have your bus transit, you have everything there.
Definitely.
It's beautiful.
On that note, do you guys have any plans with the San Bernardino Airport? Because I know it's one of the fastest growing airports as far as, I think they're in the top 30 as far as cargo and everything like that.
It is. Of course, that should always be part of the conversation, working with all of your stakeholders in the city to make sure as you are building, everyone is part of that.
And talking the state into giving us some of those tax dollars from Amazon, that would be nice. Yeah.
There's room for everything. So
No,
it's
that
just
was actually
to
that was
discuss.
promised to us when the initial ideas were coming around and presented as a possibility, right? And then it didn't turn out that way, and it kind of like made me feel like we got
I hear you.
bamboozled, you know?
The bait and switch.
Yeah, but anyways, I mean that's what happens when you don't pay good attention to people in power, right?
And the other question that I had for you was, one, how do people, because the city jobs and the government jobs are huge employers of our community, and they're actually really good jobs. So how is one that lives in San Bernardino City that wants to engage in the city work and get a job in the city or get a job in the county? Is there a website that they can go
Absolutely. www.sbcitycity.org. And if you go to the department section and go to human resources, there's job opportunities. There's a list of jobs. What I encourage folks to do is click on those jobs that interest you, even if it's not listed. Look for jobs that interest you, because there's jobs descriptions of all the jobs that we have in our city, and look at the minimum qualification. What does it take for you to get there? And then, and what I tell students, and I am huge about this, intern.
Yes.
Intern for the city, because that's how when I got moved into the management role in human resources for the city of San Bernardino, and the bankruptcy happened, almost all the employees left. And I had to start from ground zero. And what I had to do quickly was go to Cal State and San Bernardino Valley College and look for interns.
Yeah.
They came on none paid to part-time to paid full-time. And then they work for the city.
Awesome.
So it's creating a pathway for them.
Totally.
But
we need a lot more of that. We definitely do.
of course,
yes.
absolutely. And I know there's a lot of workforce development pathways that are being created through our school district. So I'm glad that's happening.
Definitely.
Partnership with our colleges and with our employers in our city. So that way, you're creating more of a workforce development in our.
Definitely.
Right here.
Because to me, it's going to take us that here in the community, the educational systems, the higher bastions of education to create those pathways to show our community that there's
jobs.
opportunity here.
There's jobs.
Yes,
yes,
jobs
and
is
good paying
opportunity.
jobs too.
I have
Work
a,
for the-
I have
work
a
for the
super
city.
hard question. I don't know if you can handle
It's
this
going to
one.
be a softball. It's going to be a
What is
Super
it?
hard. Where do you get your pho?
Where do I get my pho?
Yeah.
Pho ha.
Oh, is that where you go? That's
Right.
it.
I grew up with pho ha since
Okay.
I was a kid in San Bernardino.
All right,
6
okay,
years
it's
old.
Good. It's good.
Where's it at? Shout out the location.
Mill Street and Waterman, but then they
Okay.
opened a new one too off of Redlands Boulevard too. That's another one off of Loma Linda.
Okay.
But I grew up at that place.
Hey now. Hey
That's
now.
where.
I know
That's the
there's
first
Pho
place.
Mai across the street,
My
too.
friend Tam took me there. The
Okay.
first time. But I like Pho Mai.
That's across the street.
It's good
It's
stuff.
all good.
It's good
I
stuff.
get it.
It's good stuff.
Maybe we can do
Once a week at least.
A fire off,
Yeah,
a fire off,
yeah.
and then how many people
You just-
do a little
You,
competition?
you just get the everything bonus like this.
I hear you.
And one more easy question. What's it like being pregnant and like having a baby and like having a
leadership.
family and then like have everybody squeaking wheels wanting you to do stuff? How does that work?
So I'm a mom of 4, 14, 9, 5, and 9-month-old.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be a mom? It's nonstop.
It's a
Mom,
dream. It's a lifetime
mommy.
commitment.
Like, yes.
So you like have one constituent and then the other phone's your daughter. You're like,
And then I'm like, shh, on the phone. Trying to get things going. I don't even know how I do it, but I'm so blessed to have an amazing husband. Like, shout out to my husband, Contrant, and my family, my parents, my sister-in-law, my in-laws. All hands on deck.
what about your kids?
My kids? Oh, yes.
My
My oldest daughter.
We have one in the audience.
We have one in the audience. She's 14 years old.
A
and
budding tennis
yes,
star as well.
Yes.
What
and
school?
Then, Cajon High School.
Oh, right on, right on. We can't blame
And my
you for that, but
9-year-old
Pirates rule, but it's all right.
Actually, my 9-year-old is a baby whisperer.
Oh.
He can put my baby to sleep
That's
quick.
beautiful. That's
And so
beautiful.
I'm just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, you got
So
to get
do
it.
you still have do you cook meals?
I do.
And stuff like that?
Yes.
Like when's your family meal?
Gosh, I actually have to cook enough for the rest of the week, so there's enough for them to say, hey, grab the food, because
Yeah,
I was nonstop.
Yeah.
But my mom helps me with the kids on the meals on the day-to-day.
God bless them.
But if I'm able to cook, I'll cook more mainly in the weekends, and if I could just meal prep, then I have some for them to take to school. So I try to incorporate all of that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. A question, and you kind of spoke towards it a little about how when you got into the city and then moving up and ultimately becoming the mayor, for our youth out here that are in the San Bernardino Unified School District right now, what are some words of encouragement that you can to speak to them or speak life into their life or over their lives to let them know that you can do great here. You can do great things. We're a
can.
blank canvas, and that they each are the artists, and to tap into their passions and gifts.
Who am I looking at?
Yeah,
Okay, so
I look at the camera.
I look at the camera. I have to say, every child, please do not underestimate your abilities. Every child has the power.
Totally.
And just ignite that power.
Totally.
And I never knew I had the ability to, or even thought of being mayor or being something that's very influential in a community. And because I didn't give up and surrounded myself with support, and know that, surround yourself with support who's going to keep pushing you. Who, even when you're like, I don't want to do it, but they see talent in you.
Amen.
That is where you will start sparking your talents and your power, and you're going to ignite.
And build your self-esteem.
And build your self-esteem, because everyone has it. Every child has it.
Totally.
And I tell my kids that too. Is like, you're going to go through some rough times, and it's part of the process.
Totally.
Remember, and I always tell folks, the challenges and obstacles only builds you.
Character.
builds you stronger.
Yes, indeed.
And so don't let that get to you. Again, positive attitude, and just don't ever give up.
Amen.
I think that's important.
I have a national question. So nationally, and in the Vietnamese community, are you famous? And like, do they approach you? How do they?
It's like,
do
oh
they
my
call-
gosh,
yeah.
you're the mayor. Because I am the first Vietnamese woman elected mayor in the nation.
Yes.
And it's. I didn't even think anything of it until every time I go into the Vietnamese community, they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's the mayor." I'm like, and then I don't know if I shared this with you guys. I went to Vietnam with my parents right after the election just to go back to understand my family's history, and they had my election like throughout their newspaper.
Awesome.
And they recognized me.
International,
They say, because
international.
they have their pass. You have your pass
Was
to get
it
to the hotel, right?
San
They're like,
Bernardino, was it in Vietnamese or was it in San Bernardino?
it says San Bernardino, but they're like, "Can we take a picture with you?
Do
We
have-
know who you
Do
are."
you
I'm
have
like,
those?
"Oh!"
I want those newspapers. That's history right there. See if you can get some.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
That's historical society stuff right there. That's
So
super
it was
cool.
really cool to
Awesome.
realize that I made an impact, and that was a history. And I tell my kids all the time, it's like, you're part of the history.
Amen.
So
It's part of their legacy now.
yeah.
I love that history.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Definitely. We got about 4 minutes left. Basically, with the 2 years that you kind of have left on your term, what is it that you hope to manifest? And then also, if you could speak towards how is it that the community can help support these efforts to bettering our community for everyone that dwells here?
Right. So I hope to manifest the issues that we started working on to address the crisis in our city, which is, the one is the homeless, and addressing the downtown, and working addressing our infrastructure so for city that really creates the quality of life. What I tell folks is that have a little patience with us, because I got in and it's a lot, and it's not something that people tend to see publicly. It's like we have to have our household in order to drive results.
Totally.
And if we don't have our household in order, we can't drive results that we keep talking about. And that's why I don't do much talking. I'm like, let's go. Let's figure this out. What's the problem? Let's get to it. Let's go. Let's show
Make it
this
happen.
community. And when we need you, we're going to call on you. Trust me on that. And I tell folks, like, we got to get ourselves in order first.
Totally.
Then we're like, okay, we need you. Come along.
Definitely.
So it's but stay, be involved, and volunteer, and watch, pay attention to us, follow me on social media, follow our city social media, council meetings, all of those things. It's important.
Totally. Because and I'll throw it back to you, Robert. It's so important. When we think about community safety, so many people immediately think about law enforcement, but that's a role, but it's incumbent on the community itself to keep the community safe.
We all play a part.
Yes, we
and
do.
I say that if you want to be involved, let's all play a part.
Totally.
If we all can do small things, let's keep our streets clean. Let's really help our neighbors. Let's really just
Totally.
all those small things. You can start seeing a transformation.
And that's how we'll get back to being that all-American city.
Yes, absolutely, because we can't do it alone.
Totally.
Is it possible to love your haters?
Yes.
What would you say to your haters out there, or the people that don't agree with you?
I respect you, and I will hear what you have to say, but if it's not what I need to hear to do what I need to do, then I'm just going to stay focused.
Amen.
And that's how I look at it. And I always tell folks, like, look, stay focused, because there's so much to be done.
Totally.
And if we don't stay focused, we'll never get it done, and we'll never prove ourselves that we can get it done.
And and the people that blow smoke, what do you say to them? That always agree with every single thing.
The yes people.
We better be held accountable to
Yes.
those. And I will say accountability is huge. So
Yes.
yes.
Because
Yes.
there's both out there.
It's
isn't there?
both.
There's both.
And to me, it's like, being held accountable and just be real.
Definitely.
And
Amen.
and if we just love one another and be at peace, we're good.
Awesome.
Well, that's the show. Thank you so much, Mayor Helen Tran. And,
But might be a doctorate in there. Who knows?
It's good to it is good to see Yanni. It is. It's been 2 weeks, man. We missed you, dude. Thank you for coming, man.
DC was awesome. But we'll talk about that next show.
Yeah, I went through those pictures. I felt like I was there. This is Ipiani Lockhart, Helen Tran, and Robert Porter with the I Love San Bernardino County Radio Show, and we all out of here.
I'm a blues loving man.